Hi and welcome. I'm NFDA President Ashley Cozine, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Washington, D.C. It is a great city to bring your family, particularly if you have school-aged children. This year, my wife Carolyn and I plan to bring our 4 oldest kids. We are excited to have them with us to experience all that D.C. has to offer. Today, I'm joined by NFDA Immediate Past President and Advocacy Committee Chair Bob Arrington, NFDA CEO Christine Pepper, and NFDA's Senior Vice President of Advocacy, Leslie Witter. This portion of our 3-part Advocacy Summit Orientation Series will help you prepare for your trip to our nation's capital and to get around once you arrive. But first, let's talk about getting you to Washington, D.C. Leslie?
Thanks, Ashley. You know, every year people tell me how shocked they are by how much walking we do in D.C. So I cannot overstate the importance of comfortable shoes. Now, shoes should be professional but comfortable. Most women in D.C. carry heels in their purse and put them on right before meetings. So a small pair of flats is always a good idea. I should also let you know that the floors in Congress are marble floors. So remember that when you're packing your shoes. Another thing about D.C. is that business attire is expected. This is very similar to funeral service. So it's important that attendees come dressed as they would for a funeral. Suits and ties are the norm on Capitol Hill. Also, business cards are very important in D.C. So make sure you always have plenty handy. Generally, when you go on a Hill visit, the receptionist will ask you for your business card before you meet with anyone. Then, during the meeting, you will also exchange cards with congressional staff. This is really important because it gives you the ability to follow up with congressional staff after the meeting, and it also gives staffers a means to contact you when they have funeral service questions. Also, because Hill staff are so tightly scheduled, it's really important that you always know the accurate time. Schedules for legislators can change at a moment's notice, so we have to be prepared to be flexible and respectful of their schedules. It's best not to show up too early and expect that staff will be available to meet with you. Also, it's not good to sit in the reception area for 20 minutes before the meeting. The reception areas are usually small and may be needed for groups who are scheduled before you. So if you show up too early, just walk around the building until it's time. Now, obviously, showing up late is never good, but if it is unavoidable, it's important to call ahead and let the office know. Or better yet, split up into smaller groups so there's less likelihood of being late. Now, you should expect your meetings to run for about 10 minutes. Some meetings will run longer, obviously some will be shorter. Just use your judgment. But remember, it's vitally important not to overstay your welcome.
I've been to many advocacy summits over the years, and the app was a really helpful addition to the event. This year, I'm glad to say we have an even better app that will help us better use our time in Washington, D.C. The app is compatible with Apple and Android devices and will give you everything you need to keep you on track in D.C. You'll find your daily schedule of events, speaker bios, maps of the Capitol and the metro system, and even tips for successful Hill visits, so you can brush up on what we just talked about today. You'll even be able to fill in your Hill visit report forms immediately after each visit and email them to NFDA staff. This is best done right after the meeting so you can capture all the details. I'm particularly excited about 2 new features of the app. This year, the app will have photos of your legislators to help you identify them, even if they are not in their office. You may actually bump into them in the hallways or the cafeteria, so it's always a good idea to be prepared to introduce yourself and maybe even snap a photo with them. Another great new benefit is that we can automatically push schedule updates directly to your phone. So if your meeting times get changed, you will know instantly, but only when NFDA schedules your Hill visits. With all of these great features, be sure to download the NFDA Advocacy app before you get to Washington. The closest airport to the Mayflower Hotel is Ronald Reagan National Airport. Cabs are available right outside baggage claim downstairs and usually cost around $20. Dulles Airport is a bit further away, and cabs cost around $64. You can choose to make a reservation with an airport shuttle, which may be less of an expensive option. I use both Uber and Lyft, and they are economical options as well.
You know, one of my favorite ways to get around D.C. is the Metro. There's a Metro station connected to Ronald Reagan National Airport. Metro fares are considerably cheaper than cabs, but you may want to avoid bringing luggage during the rush hour. The Metro offers a variety of routes to get you where you want to go in D.C. The routes are identified by colors on the Metro map. Blue and yellow Metro lines stop at National Airport and will take you to D.C. in about 20 minutes. Once in D.C., you can change trains onto the red line at Metro Center and get off at Farragut North Station, which is just a few feet from the Mayflower Hotel. A map of the Metro system is included on your NFDA Advocacy Summit app.
Once you check into the Mayflower Hotel, be sure to come to the NFDA registration desk to pick up your badge and other important information. NFDA staff will be on hand each day during registration hours. You can see from the slide, we begin registration at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and we'll keep it open until 6:30. On Wednesday, we'll start 7:30 till 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday are both from 7 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Registration will be open and fully staffed.
The 2017 Advocacy Summit schedule begins on Wednesday, April 27th. From 4 to 5 p.m., we have a new meet and greet. If you are a first-time attendee, have questions, or would like to talk with us face-to-face, the NFDA board and staff will be available to chat with you before you head over to the welcome party. And then new this year is our welcome party at the U.S. Botanical Garden from 6 to 8 p.m. The next morning, Thursday, April 28th, we'll start with a continental breakfast at 7 a.m. Welcome remarks and speaker introductions at 7:45 with our keynote speaker at 8 a.m. We'll all head over to the Capitol building for a 9:30 photo shoot on the steps of the Capitol building. This, too, is new for 2017. From 10 to 5, we'll all have the opportunity to do our Hill visit. From 10 to 4, we have a welcome room at the Capitol Hill Club on the 3rd floor. And then, new this year, on Thursday, April 28th, starting at 6 p.m., we are securing a speaker for a packed dinner on Thursday evening. I don't want to give away any details right now, but you might want to keep that night open. We are expecting to put on a great event for you, so please stay tuned for more information. Then on Friday, April 29th, we start the day at 8 a.m. with a keynote speaker, Dan Miller, from the Wounded Warrior Project. We leave the Mayflower Hotel around 10 a.m. to go over to the Arlington National Cemetery. At 11:15, we have a special NFDA wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and we also, which is new this year, will have a tour of the stables. We'll conclude Friday at 1 p.m. with buses departing either for Ronald Reagan National Airport, and if you're planning on departing, please bring your luggage with you, or back to the Mayflower Hotel if you're staying to enjoy our nation's capital.
Thanks, Christine. The Metro is a good option when you leave the Mayflower Hotel for your lobbying visits, or you can take a cab, Uber, or Lyft. The Red Line, which is on the same street as the Mayflower Hotel, goes to Union Station, which is the closest station to the Senate. The orange, silver, and blue lines go to Capitol South Station, which is the closest station to the House side. To go to the House side, you pick up the line at Farragut West, which is about 3 blocks to the left when you exit the front of the Mayflower Hotel. One bit of DC advice: if you do take the Metro, Be sure to stand on the right side of the escalators. Walk on the left side. Trust me, you don't want to stand on the left side during rush hour when people are trying to get to work.
That's true, Ashley. I'm one of those left side walkers. So once you get to Washington, D.C., it's really easy to get around. Once you're up on Capitol Hill, everywhere you need to go is within walking distance. As you can see from the map, the Capitol building is the large red building right in the center of the map, and it is surrounded by beautiful gardens. Now, across from the Capitol building, you have Independence Avenue. On the Independence Avenue side, you have three house office buildings. You've got Rayburn, Longworth, and Cannon. These three house office buildings are connected by tunnels. The Capitol South Metro is directly across from the Cannon house office building. And facing the Capitol South Metro, you have the Capitol Hill Club, which will be our home away from home while you're on the hill. Now, if you're on the Independence side of the house office buildings, you'll see the Capitol. You'll also notice that the U.S. Botanic Gardens are part of the Capitol grounds. This is a fantastic venue to visit. Now, how about we walk from Independence and we go up to First Street? You'll notice the Library of Congress and the Supreme Court are on First Street. When we take our group photo at 9:30 on Thursday morning, it will be on the First Street side of the U.S. Capitol. So you should be looking towards the Library of Congress and also looking for the rest of the NFDA people. We're going to take our photo right there on the steps. If you continue across First Street past the Supreme Court, you get to Constitution Avenue, where you have the Senate side of the Capitol complex. Here you have three Senate buildings, the Hart Building, Dirksen, and Russell Building. Again, these three Senate office buildings are connected by tunnels underneath.
Walking through the tunnels below the House and Senate office buildings is always exciting. All three House buildings are connected by tunnels. All three Senate buildings are connected by tunnels too. But depending on the security level that particular day, sometimes you cannot walk through the tunnels under the Capitol building without an escort. So for example, if you're in the Cannon building on the House side, go down to the tunnels and walk through the Longworth and Rayburn buildings. If you get confused, you can ask anyone for help unless they're lost too. The key thing to remember is that this is an enclosed system, so you're never really lost. You just may not know where you are.
Well, Bob, speaking of getting lost, let's talk about the numbering system in the House office buildings. You're probably looking at this slide and thinking that Representative Walter's office is on the second floor of Cannon, which is right. And you may think Representative Jenkins' office is on the 15th floor of Longworth and that Representative Hunter's office is on the 24th floor of Rayburn. Well, here's a tip I have learned over the years. Cannon is the only building on the House side with a normal numbering system. All the offices in Longworth begin with the number 1, and all the offices in Rayburn begin with the number 2. So in Longworth and Rayburn, you ignore the first digit to find your floor. So for example, 1526 is on the 5th floor of Longworth, and 2429 is on the 4th floor of Rayburn. Well, luckily for all of us, the three Senate buildings, Hart, Dirksen, and Russell, have a normal numbering system. So 306 is actually on the 3rd floor in each Senate building.
We are very lucky to have access to the Capitol Hill Club at 300 First Street Southeast. Not only is it ideally located across from the Cannon office building, but it is also an exclusive members-only club where a lot of members of Congress spend their time when they aren't in their offices. In fact, you can be sure You'll be sure to see several members of Congress come and go throughout the day. This is the perfect spot for you to meet your group, come by and grab a sandwich, or maybe just rest your feet. We have the speaker suite on the 3rd floor from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. so you can come and talk with staff, ask questions, review your visits, or simply take a rest. All the information you need can be found at nfda.org/advocacy summit. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the other orientation videos for more information to get you prepared for the summit. If you are a first-time attendee, have questions about anything, or would just like to talk with us face-to-face in advance of your DC experience, we will be available in the Promenade Room at the Mayflower Hotel on Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. to chat with you before we head off to the welcome party.
We're looking forward to advocating for funeral service with you at the 2017 NFDA Advocacy Summit this April. I look forward to seeing all of you in our nation's capital.